Welcome back, magical friends. It's me, Christina McCrary on Facebook, aka Xtina McCrazy on TikTok, Instagram, Threads, and now Blue Sky. Your co-host. Yeah, it's a new social media, and George told me to get on it because it's new. And yeah, so TikTok, Instagram, Threads, and Blue Sky. Names the same all across all of them. Beautiful co-host, please introduce yourself.
I'm Erica. I'm a Hufflepuff, and I'm Poodle Noodle 82 only at the Instagrammy place. I mean, I'm on Facebook too, but I don't know. Do I check it? Maybe. You're not going to catch me on everything else, okay?
I get it, because I didn't want to be there either. What?
Can I share stuff with you?
Please.
So if you guys don't already know, there's a store called GU. You guys have it too, right? It's like Uniqlo's cousin. You definitely have it. I think I'm almost positive that there's a GU in the States. It's literally just a G and a U.
I'm not familiar with it. I'll have to look it up.
Okay. It's Uniqlo's
I don't recall ever seeing one.
It's Uniqlo's sister or brother or whatever. Anyway, this is their second Harry Potter collab. I missed out on the first one because I didn't know it was happening, but I didn't on the second one. Although I do have to say wasn't a fan of everything. So here's my little haul. First of all,
yes.
So
yes.
I'm not a fan of the fact that, okay, so here's the toe, the front.
They're a little thin.
Like, why is the pygmy puff on the back?
Oh, it should have been on the heel.
Like, here's the heel, right? So if this is my foot, I mean...
So it should have been on the front, and if they were going to put it on the back, it should have been the heel, because it was perfectly shaped for that. Oh, you guys don't know what pygmy puffs are. We don't get pygmy puffs until, what is it, book 5?
Nor do we get this beautiful creature, but I can't help myself.
Crookshanks.
And again, on the back.
Crookshanks is Hermione's cat.
Eventually.
We don't get him for a few more books either, but see, they just had Pygmy Puff. It didn't give any more detail than that. So
yeah, but I mean, I don't even like cats, okay? But
I know.
Here I am.
Crookshanks. Hello, Crookshanks.
There's not a lot of Crookshanks stuff.
Crookshanks is half Kneasel.
We'll figure that out later.
I mean, it's not a spoiler.
This is a cute little, what's it called? A little baggie, a little drawstring crossbody bag. It's super cute, super tiny. These are actually stretchy, like this little material. Here's a teeny bit stretchy, but it's so soft and adorable. And this strap is really long, which is wonderful. And you can even tuck it in if you really wanted to and just carry it by the little strappers, by the drawstring.
Put it on your wrist.
Which is cute. And I couldn't help myself. Can you see that okay?
Is that a keychain?
Yep. And I just stuck it on the little drawstring for now. And one last thing.
Love it.
Look how warm and fuzzy these are.
I was just gonna say it looks so cozy and warm.
Yes, they are. Oh, and they come with pants. It's like a loungewear set.
Clearly, you're more excited about the top because you just kind of.
Well, there's nothing on the pants. There's no emblem. There's no H. There's no beaver.
They're so cute. I just saw that the drawstring is gold to match the little embroidery. That's cute.
That's why I showed it. But the rest of it, like, it's all about here. Here's the ticket.
Okay.
They had sweaters, but on the sweater, it just had here like the Hufflepuff kind of thing, but it wasn't the actual like embroidered kind of like this style. I think it was really basic. And so I thought, number one, I never really wear sweaters. And number two, it's not like the official looking Hufflepuff seal. So I was like, I'm not going to pay for this. And then they also had hoodies, which I was very interested in, but literally for Hufflepuff, it was just the same like cream colored, the look. And then it just had a tiny, this big beaver embroidered here. And I was like, I'm not paying that much.
Cream's not even really a Hufflepuff color. So, like, yeah, that's weird.
And I will get it.
But it makes sense in a loungewear. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
it makes
that's what I was perfectly happy.
Yeah, I get it. And that could just be because we're us, but I get it. I totally get it.
And they also had, just in case you want to go get one, somebody out there, a full-on hoodie dress, which I love the idea of a hoodie dress. Like, that sounds like I want to live in it every day. But it just had the Hogwarts crest here. And then it was, one of them was like charcoal gray and the other one was black. But like, that's just a lot of material. Like, no, there's nothing else on it.
That one patch, nothing on the back?
Nothing on the back.
But it was a hoodie. Like,
it was
hooded.
Hoodie dress. Yeah, yes.
Did it have pockets?
No. Literally a dress. A hoodie dress. The material,
yeah, but you know me,
great.
I love anything in black, so I would consider it depending on certain other aspects. Like the hoodie and the pockets might have sold me because I would get a plain black hoodie dress that had a hoodie and pockets. So why not get one with the Hogwarts crest? Well, depending on the price, of course. Don't try to gouge me just because you put a Hogwarts crest on it.
What was the price? I'm trying to remember. It had to have been like close to, probably 4,000 yen.
That's not too bad. I might have paid that.
Nothing in this line was really that. Nothing. It didn't go above 4,000 yen. It was like $39.99 or something for the loungewear set or for the hoodie, stuff like that. So,
I mean, hoodies are easily $40. So a hoodie dress with the Hogwarts crest on it in black, no less. The only downfall is it doesn't have pockets. So I would have to try it on and see if I liked it enough without pockets.
No, I needed more.
No, I know. But you know me, anything that's black.
I needed Hogwarts embroidered on the back, or like, because I can see myself wearing it in my house, but like it's not flattering to wear outside because it's just one color all the way down, and there's nothing to break. No. Yeah,
that's why when I come there, you make me wear other because I love wearing all black. You know that.
No, I get that, but like a little black dress is different than like Voldemort's followers like hoodie.
True.
And
I'd still be tempted. I'd still be tempted. I love a good hoodie legging combo, and so I buy my hoodies oversized anyway, so it depends on how it falls. I would have to try it on, but I'd be tempted.
Yeah. Well, go to GU. Anyway.
If I find one. Okay. Anywho. Thanks, guys, for being here.
For the candy.
No, I like it. I like that we just talk about Harry Potter. That's I love it. If you are new here, thank you for joining us. If you are returning, welcome back. This is Chronicle 2-6, where we get into Chapter 6, titled Gilderoy Lockhart. And we're going to call this episode, hold on, Peskipiksi Pesternomi. Yes. And as Erica gets into the chapter summary, you'll figure out why we're calling it that.
Yeah.
Erica, tell us about chapter 6.
All right. We'll start off with new characters, right?
Yes.
We already know Neville's grandma, but she's mentioned again, you know. We just get mentions of her here and there. And then we get to meet Professor Sprout. We maybe have a mention of her before, but in this book, we get to really know who she is, what she's about, what she teaches, etc. She is the herbology teacher. And basically that means
Erica, where are the herbology where are the herbology classes held?
In the greenhouses. Outside.
How cool is that to have hours of class where you're just outside of the greenhouse?
Well, we already discussed this a little bit, but like, I mean, as you get to learn more, they have astrology classes that we're going to learn about later that you get to like go outside, and you have to go outside at midnight or like in the middle of the night because you're looking at the stars and stuff, right?
Yeah. Their classes are at midnight. Their astrology classes.
Yeah.
Up on the tower.
As we come to find out later in this chapter, they're very hands-on, as Hermione would say. We also meet Justin Fletchley, who is a fellow Hufflepuff, and he is Muggle-born. And then we have Colin Creevey, who is a Gryffindor, who is also Muggle-born. And two very special characters. One is a mandrake, which is a type of plant, magical plant. And the other is a howler, which, as the name suggests, is very loud. We'll find out more. Here we go. Did I miss anything?
There's one more creature that we meet this chapter as well.
What creature? Oh, yes. Peskipiksi Pesternomis. The Cornish pixies. All right. Now time to get into the chapter summary. Let me just say, this is very warm. Okay. So we left off with, I guess, Ron and Harry kind of feeling a little bit happy with themselves, kind of like like they're kind of badasses, right? Like, oh, I'm so cool. I came to Hogwarts in a flying car and everybody's cheering me on. Like, yeah, you
I
the
think
man.
the kids these days are calling that either Riz or clout, depending on the usage.
Okay. There you go.
But they've gotten all the pats on the backs. They were cheered into the common room, so they're feeling themselves.
Yep. And then you get the following day where they're at breakfast and Harry's not feeling so happy anymore because what's happening now is Hermione is looking at them like, oh, you've done something terrible and I don't want to talk to you, right? And she's just sitting there with her nose stuck in her book, Voyages with Vampires, which was written by Gilderoy Lockhart, by the way.
Because remember, Hermione usually has all of the school books read by the beginning of the year, but Gilderoy gave them like 7 books, so.
So ridiculous. I mean, I'm assuming that that's literally just for, what's it called? For the royalties, right?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. If you could make it mandatory for people to buy, and remember, it's not just their grade, because Fred and George had to have them too, and they're 2 years ahead. So probably every kid in the school had to buy all 7 of his books. Come on. Absolutely for the royalties, because he could make it mandatory.
That's a huge chunk of money in their pockets.
Yeah, it is. It's probably why he took the job. And he just had Magical Me come out too.
Yeah. All right. So all of a sudden, everybody's at breakfast, and Neville is like, oh, I bet you mail is coming soon because my grandma's sending me some stuff because I forgot stuff, as per usual. And yeah. And sure enough, all the owls fly in, and Errol, Ron's family owl, makes a grand entrance by plopping into Hermione's milk, just like bam, and just making a hot mess. And he comes because he's delivering a howler. And everybody at the table is like, oh man, oh no, it's a howler. And Harry's like, what's a howler? He doesn't know what it is. He has no idea what's going on. And Neville's like, it's okay, Ron. Just open it, man. It's going to be over in a minute. Don't you worry. And can you please tell us what happens next, Christina?
Wait, would you like before that, what Neville says is that he needs to go ahead and open it now because his grand sent him once and he tried to ignore it, and then he just gulps and says, it was horrible. He doesn't even tell us what happened. So he's telling Ron, just open it, dude. Don't let it sit because it gets worse.
What happened?
So Ron's shaking. He opens the envelope. Now, mind you, a howler is red. That's how they know when it arrives immediately. The envelope is red. So Ron's shaking and he's opening the envelope. Neville shoves his fingers in his ears. Harry's wondering why. And then a second later, he realizes when the sound fills the entire hall, literally shaking dust from the ceiling. And it's Mrs. Weasley's voice. Stay in the car. I wouldn't have been surprised if they'd expelled you. You wait till I get hold of you. I don't suppose you stopped to think what your father and I went through when we saw it gone. And it gives a little more description, and she goes on to say, letter from Dumbledore last night. I thought your father would die of shame. He didn't bring you up to behave like this. You and Harry could both have died. And Harry's
and poor like, Harry.
He was like, I wondered when my name would come up. And then she says, absolutely disgusted. Your father's facing an inquiry at work. I would have said inquiry, but just because I remember it. Your father's facing an inquiry at work. It's entirely your fault. And if you put another toe out of line, we'll bring you straight back home. And then the red envelope burst into flames and curled into ashes.
And that is a howler.
Magic. And of course, by the time it was done, the whole entire hall was looking, because that's how loud the howler is. Now everybody's looking at them, and when she stopped and it fell and burst into ashes, there was a ringing silence across the hall.
Yep. Basically, you could hear a pin drop in the hall because everybody was listening to that howler. And then as soon as it stopped, of course, everybody kind of went back to their business, but Hermione closed her book up and she was like, well, I don't know what you were expecting, fool. And he's like, don't you tell me that I deserved it. But literally, that's Hermione, right? Hermione is the I told you so girl. So, of course she wants to rub it in your nose. Of course she wants to tell you so.
You know, I realized as I was reading this chapter that Hermione kind of grows on you later, because I didn't really like her that much in this chapter. Like, either you're with us or you're not. You're real judgy, and we don't want my mom here right now.
I know, but I mean, at the same time, who's going to keep you in line?
I know, but she does it better later. Like, I get why they didn't like her at first.
Yeah, of course. I mean, she learns tact later.
Yeah, because you know I love Hermione.
Right.
You know how much I love Hermione. So
she is an only child. Only children.
As we're reading the beginnings, I see why they didn't like her.
Yeah. They don't have that, like, friendly connection to have enough tact, right?
Not yet. Not yet. And she's just bossy. And
like, yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Okay. Sorry. Go ahead.
All right. No, that's okay. I mean, we gotta discuss these things. All right. So literally in my notes, I wrote Hermione being Hermione. Like, that's just what it is. Then we talk about it talks about how Harry was feeling guilty, obviously, because I don't think that he would have felt guilty even for a second if it was the Dursleys, right? Because he doesn't care about the Dursleys because the Dursleys don't care about him. But Mrs. Weasley and Mr. Weasley, having taken him in for a whole month in the summer, being as kind as they are, treating him like one of their own, even though they already have so many and not any money, he feels super guilty, right?
Yeah. The last thing they need is for Mr. Weasley to lose his job or have any trouble at work.
Right? And then for it to be partially his fault. So So then we get our schedules during breakfast. Our schedules tell us that it's time for herbology. They're going to have double herbology the first day of school. And then after that, defense against the dark arts. But herbology.
I think they go to transfiguration first.
Oh, yeah.
Don't they go to transfiguration first?
Yes, they do. They do have transfiguration first. So they go to herbology, and that means that they're going to go outside to the greenhouses, like we said before. And Professor Sprout is there. And basically it tells us that she is a squat little witch who wore a patched hat over her flyaway hair. There was usually a large amount of earth on her clothes, and her fingernails would have made Aunt Petunia faint. So, yeah, she's all about the outside, the dirt, the soil, being one with nature.
I was going to say, I would imagine she's a witch hippie.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, she's about the plant life, right?
Yep. Just
okay.
Playing in the dirt.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, so then we also have a little comparison to Gilderoy Lockhart here, because Gilderoy is immaculate in sweeping robes of turquoise, his golden hair shining under a perfectly positioned turquoise hat with gold trimming. So literally he's like constantly picture perfect.
Anyway. So they walk up together, and poor Professor Sprout has bandages all over her arms. And Harry also notices that the Whomping Willow has a few branches in slings.
Yes. And the funny part is, Gilderoy Lockhart is like, oh, I've just been teaching your herbology teacher how to care for a Whomping Willow, right? How to it's just ridiculous. Like, how are you going to teach herbology how to care
the
for it?
right way to doctor a Whomping Willow?
Yeah, because he's come across these types of plants, these exotic plants in his travels, right? Because, Gilderoy.
And don't think that I'm better than your teacher. I wouldn't want you to think that. I just have come across these plants in these travels. Oh, what a pompous butt he is.
Yeah, definitely. All right, so they're like, okay, we're in greenhouse 3. So they go to greenhouse 3, and there are umbrella-sized flowers, which are creating this lovely smell all over the place, which is super cool. I want to see an umbrella-sized flower. And then Lockhart's like, oh, Professor Sprout, let me talk to Harry real quick. And her face says no. She hasn't said anything, but her face says no. And Lockhart's like, cool. See you in a bit. Harry, come on. And
if I could just point out that this is the first female witch we've seen who isn't all gaga over that guy. And all it took was for them to walk to class together.
Yeah. Well, we come to find out that McGonagall is also not that type.
He doesn't have a lot of fans. He doesn't have a lot of fans.
Not in the educator, older, smarter witch community.
No. I think it's anybody that he's around for an extended time. Because as he's out there doing his book tours and whatever, he's supposed to be all pompous and selling himself, but he does that here inside the school, and people quickly are like, ew.
Yeah.
He does.
The charm is superficial. The charm lasts only so long, right?
Especially when he pulls stunts like this. I was just telling your herbology teacher the right way to doctor a Whomping Willow. The right way. To use the word the right way. Sir, if you don't get out of my class.
Yeah, exactly. Like in front of your students too. How?
Yeah.
That's so arrogant.
That's only the first layer, because then he goes on to say, oh, but I don't want you to think that I'm better at herbology than she is. Like, if you don't shut up and get out, every time you open your mouth, it's worse.
It gets worse and worse and worse.
Worse. I'm sorry. Okay, go ahead.
It just keeps getting it keeps getting worse again because he pulls Harry out and he's like, Harry, I got to talk to you about your stunt that you pulled. He's like, I know that you flew that flying car. I think it's because I gave you that taste of fame. And now you've got the bug. He's like basically saying that Harry pulled the stunt because when he met him at Flourish and Blotts and they took the picture together for the Daily Prophet, that because of that, Harry was influenced. What?
The front page of the Daily Prophet. Not just the Daily Prophet, the front page.
The front page, yeah. And then Harry is like wanting to be famous, according to Gilderoy. Of course, Harry's like, no, man, like, I don't want any of this. It's crazy. And the best part was, what did he say? He was like, you're almost there, Harry. Of course, you knew it once why you've done it. Stood out a mile. Harry, Harry, Harry. Gave you a taste for publicity, didn't I? Gave you the bug. Hilarious. Oh, this part. No. This was the hilarious part. I know. It's not quite as good as winning Witch Weekly's Most Charming Smile Award 5 times in a row, as I have. But it's a start, Harry. It's a start. Like,
see, and that wasn't even the part that stuck out to me. The part that stuck out to me was this fool saying, when I was 12, I was just as much of a nobody as you are now. In fact, I'd say even more of a nobody. I mean, a few people have heard of you, haven't they? All that business with he who must not be named.
Oh, yeah. Only saving the entire wizarding race from, like, the most evil wizard in the whole world.
Only literally the most famous wizard in the wizarding world because he's the boy who lived.
Yeah.
Like, this narcissistic, smiling goober.
And by this time, he's already done it again, right? Because in the last book, he already fought Voldemort again.
Dude.
Gotta love it.
Oh my God.
Love it. All right.
To have the cojones to call Harry Potter a nobody.
Yes. So they go finally into the classroom again. And they are talking about mandrakes. A mandrake is a really weird plant. I guess it looks like a normal plant on the outside, right? From the top. But what happens is that they're going to repot mandrakes, okay? It's a powerful restorative plant, and it's used to return people who have been transfigured or cursed back to their original state. And also they cry. There's a cry. They have a cry that is apparently fatal to anyone who hears it. And for this reason, there are a bunch of earmuffs on the table that everybody has to secure tightly onto their heads, onto their ears. And something I find very interesting that I would like to discuss, book versus movie, later. But so, like, some of them are pink, some of them are all different kinds of crazy colors, but pink and fluffy or whatever else it may be. And then Professor Sprout's like, I'll tell you when it's okay to take them off, but for now, like, be safe, everybody put them on properly. And she goes and shows them what they need to do, and she rips one out of the earth. And how come it looks, instead of roots, a small, muddy, and extremely ugly baby popped out of the earth? Harry, of course, let out a gasp of surprise that no one could hear because everyone's wearing earmuffs. But yeah, there are leaves that grow right out of the top of his head. And it has a pale green mottled skin and was clearly bawling at the top of its lungs.
That cry.
Yeah, that cry. How interesting. And so basically she tells them that they need to repot them and sprinkle some soil on them, cover them back up, and that's what they're doing in class. I would say that's a pretty hands-on class, right? At this point in time, we meet. Oh, also, the cries will knock you out. Like, if you hear them. That's why they have the earmuffs on, because the cries will make you pass out.
So the fully grown ones, their cry can kill you. But because they're working with seedlings, their cry is not strong enough yet. So even though it won't kill them, it'll knock them out. That's why they're doing the earmuffs.
So nice. So nice. Like,
because Hogwarts is the safest place to be.
Yeah, I mean, but you don't have parents like signing permission slips and stuff for any of this.
I mean, I feel like the only ones who might have an issue are going to be Muggle parents, because magical parents went to Hogwarts too, so they already know what's up.
Yeah. True.
So I feel like the Muggle parents don't know until you get back after your first year, and they keep the first year pretty mild, so they let you come back.
Yeah. Yeah, the first year's pretty mild. You know, you just have to fight Voldemort.
Well, only if you're Harry, but since his Muggle family doesn't give a crap whether he lives or dies, it's all good.
Yeah, true. All right. So we meet Justin Finch Fletchley, who, as we know, is also...
Because they're four to a table. He comes to their table.
Exactly. They're four to a table. He's working with Harry, Ron, and Hermione, and he's like, oh, I know who you are, of course. You're Harry Potter, right? And you're Hermione Granger, right? You're always the top of your class, always the top of everything. And Hermione's like, yes, that's me. Nice to meet you. And then he looks at Ron and he's like, you're the dude with the flying car. It's like, oh, God, don't, not again. Don't. Please, no. And then Justin is also singing the praises, right? He's singing praises to Gilderoy Lockhart and all of his fantastic things that he's done, all of the this, that, whatever, how brave he is. Anyway, we find out that he's a Muggle-born because he was supposed to be going to a different school, and instead he went to Hogwarts.
Well, after that, they have to put their earmuffs on, and they don't have that much time to talk anymore.
Oh, yeah. Then they're just going to work. And then they build up a nice appetite. No, they still have to go to Transfiguration. Oh, this is where they do the buttons.
Yeah.
Turning beetles into buttons.
They go in, they get a quick wash, and then they go to Transfiguration class with Professor McGonagall.
Yeah, Ron has a bit of a difficulty with this one because as we remember,
wand back together with cello tape.
What do you think cello tape is for?
I don't know. And I wonder what magical properties it has. Like,
yeah, because you don't really know about it besides.
Yeah, you don't. This might be one of the only times. This may be one of the only times I remember them mentioning it. I don't know. All I know is you can't tape your wand back together. It still ain't gonna work, Ron.
Yeah. Not gonna happen, unfortunately. So Ron, we find out that Ron's wand is not working properly because as he's trying to work on his beetle, it just smells like rotten eggs. And there's a puff of smoke and he can't see, and then he squashes his beetle. So it's not working out for him too well. Harry is also not getting the spell. Probably like most of the class, I would presume. However, somebody else gets it real well, as per usual. Hermione. So she basically tells Ron, dude, you should write to your family and tell them to buy you a new wand. And he's like, oh, yeah, okay. So they can tell me that it's my fault that it's broken because I flew the car and because it broke in the accident. And he's like, yeah, no, I'm just going to live with my broken wand. And they're on their way down to lunch, and Ron's like, what's next? And Harry was asking, what do we got this afternoon? And Hermione goes, ooh, Defense Against the Dark Arts. And Ron looks at her schedule, and he's like, why are there hearts all over your schedule? Well, all over the Defense Against the Dark Arts classes, at least. She literally lined them with little hearts. Love that. And she's still reading her Voyages with Vampires book. And as they're sitting down for lunch, Colin Creevy comes and starts snapping pictures of Harry Potter, right? He's like, do you think it's okay if I have a picture? Hi, I'm Colin Creevy. I'm from Gryffindor. Can I have a picture, please? And can you sign it? Like, what? He said, so I can prove that I've met you. Because again, Colin is also Muggle-born. His dad, what does his dad do?
His
dad's a milkman.
A milkman, yep. So they were all kinds of surprised when he got his letter.
I mean, how cool is that, though? Like, imagine you're Muggle-born, and all of a sudden, because your abilities show when you're a kid, right? Because he says, I never knew all the odd stuff I could do was magic till I got the letter from Hogwarts. So from the moment that your abilities start to show until you turn 11 and you get your letter, you're just thinking that your family is just thinking that you're doing all kinds of crazy stuff.
Or weird things happen around you.
And it always happens like in times of stress or in times of like excitement, very high emotion times, right? So that's
you don't know it's there and you can't control it, so it like comes out. Yeah,
exactly. So then we find out that Draco was kind of listening to the conversation. He's like, signed photos. Really, Harry, you've gotten to the point where now you're giving out signed. Like, the person that you really, really don't want to hear this is Draco, right? You don't want Draco to find out that Colin Creevy's asking you to sign pictures, because he's going to just take it and run with it, which is exactly what he does. Colin goes, you're just jealous. That's just going to rub him the wrong way.
Oh, no, because run with it means Draco all of a sudden yells across the courtyard, hey, line up, everybody. Potter's giving away signed photos.
Oh, no.
And Harry's like, shut up, Malfoy. No, I'm not. And that's when Colin's like, oh, you're just jealous.
And then, of course, Ron is like, eat slugs, Malfoy. Like, trying to defend Harry. And then he goes, you don't want to start any trouble, or your mommy will have to come and take you away from school. If you put another toe out of line. And he's mimicking Molly, right? Like making fun of the Howler. But unfortunately, someone else does hear about this signed photos situation. Oh no. Gilderoy Lockhart. He's like, what is all of this? What do you mean signed photos? And, Gilderoy is Gilderoy. So he's like, I got you, Colin. I got you. How about all of us take a picture together? You, me, Harry, and then Harry and I will both sign it.
This guy.
Can you please? Yeah. Can you please tell us why he did it though? Like, what was the front? It was apparently a front.
So after it's all done, he says, "A word to the wise, Harry. I covered up for you back there with young Creevy. If he was photographing me too, your schoolmates won't think you're setting yourself up so much." And Harry's, it's another one of those situations where he's trying to explain and Gilderoy is not listening at all.
Not listening. At all.
At all.
Not at all.
And he says, "Let me just say that handing out signed pictures at this stage of your career isn't sensible. Looks a tad big-headed, Harry, to be frank. There may well come a time when, like me, you'll need to keep a stack handy wherever you go. But," and he gave a little chortle, "I don't think you're quite there yet."
Oh, no. Oh, no, Gilderoy. Oh, no.
And so while they were walking and talking, they ended up at the classroom. And now because Harry's like this guy, he goes immediately to the back of the classroom.
And then it's so funny. Poor Harry, man.
Everywhere near you, sir.
Oh, yeah. Because even Ron is like, you could have fried an egg on your face. Right? Like, he was just hot, right? He was just embarrassed. He was hot, like red. So,
oh no!
And then I love this line. You'd better hope he doesn't meet Ginny, or they'll be starting a Harry Potter fan club. And he goes, "Shut up! The last thing that Harry needed was for Lockhart to hear the phrase Harry Potter fan club." Can you imagine?
Oh my God.
If he would have actually heard Harry Potter fan club and come out of like Harry's mouth or Ron's mouth, he'd have been like, "Oh, okay. I'll be the co-chair."
The way he just pushes himself in everywhere.
Yeah. Exactly. So now we get to meet Gilderoy on a more intimate level. Because, first of all, his introduction of himself in class. Gilderoy Lockhart, Order of Merlin, 3rd class. Honorary member of the Dark Force Defense League. And 5-time winner of Witch Weekly's Most Charming Smile Award. And then, what is the first thing that he does in class? What is their first assignment?
He gives them a pop quiz to see who has read the book.
About?
And they have 30 minutes to answer. I believe there were 54 questions. Every single question was about. Well, it's supposed to be about what was in the books, but I guess we get a glimpse of what's in the books from this quiz, because literally every single question is about Gilderoy Lockhart.
Yep. What
is Gilderoy Lockhart's favorite color? It's lilac. What's Gilderoy's secret ambition?
Gilderoy Lockhart's secret ambition?
All the way down to 54. 54. When is Gilderoy Lockhart's birthday, and what would his ideal gift be?
Yep. So after the time is up, he's looking at the tests and he's like, "Oh gosh, you guys suck. None of you. Oh wait. Look. Miss Hermione Granger. Full marks. Oh my goodness. She got all 54 questions right. That's Hermione right there for you. She got all
Of course
54
she
questions
did.
right. All about
Of
Gilderoy
course she
Lockhart.
did.
Nothing about magic. Nothing about Defense Against the Dark Arts. Nothing about anything relevant. Literally, it's just about Gilderoy.
Well, but she got 10 points for Gryffindor.
All right. All right. All right. So then comes the fun. Basically, he's like, I am going to try to train you guys on everything that you need to know to be, you know, a good wizard, to like defend yourselves properly. And he's like, check it out. Freshly caught Cornish pixies. And some kids are kind of laughing because I guess maybe they're not so wild or crazy. What would you equate a fresh caught Cornish pixie to? Like a gopher?
It's magic, so you know there's always that extra layer. So maybe like a
slightly naughtier gopher. I mean, gophers are already
maybe a flying
pests, right?
flying gopher.
Oh, all right. So they are devilishly tricky little blighters. And basically, he opens the cage and he just lets them fly about the classroom. And that is their lesson. Just
Catch them and put them back in the cage.
Yep. Catch him and put him back in the cage. And everybody is like, are you kidding me right now? Like, you're not teaching us anything. You're just putting us in a sticky situation. And Hermione's like, no, this is what hands-on learning is.
Yeah, but as soon as he opens the cage, there's immediate pandemonium.
And what does he do?
I mean, at first he tries to do something. Hold on, no, wait.
Yeah,
he opens the cage. It's pandemonium. Yeah. The pixies shot in every direction like rockets. Two of them seized Neville by the ears and lifted him into the air. Several shot straight through the window, showering the back row with broken glass. The rest proceeded to wreck the classroom more effectively than a rampaging rhino. They grabbed ink bottles and sprayed the class with them, shredded books and papers, tore pictures from the walls, upended the wastebasket, grabbed bags and books, and threw them out of the smashed window. Within minutes, half of the class was sheltering under desks, and Neville was swinging from the iron chandelier in the ceiling. This is when Lockhart rolls up his sleeves, brandishes his wand, and bellows, Peskipiksi Pesternomi! And it has absolutely no effect whatsoever.
I love the fact that it says that it has absolutely no effect whatsoever.
No effect whatsoever. And then, just because to put the icing on the cake, a pixie grabs his wand out of his hand and tosses it out the window.
Yep. And then Lockhart, like, they hear the bell ring because class is over, and everybody runs out, except Lockhart straightens up. He looks at Harry, Ron, and Hermione, and he's like...
Because he had dived under his desk.
Yeah.
He straightens up because he had dived under his desk after his wand got thrown out the window.
And he goes, I'm going to... You three. Yeah? You 1, 2, 3, you three? Just handle it. Okay? Bye! And he shuts the door behind him. He leaves them in there, not locked in. I'm assuming, I hope they're not locked in, but they're in there with all the pixies. And of course, Ron, he's like, this, can you believe him? Like this? And Hermione, why, Hermione? Why, darling? Just enchanted, I guess, because she's like, oh, he just wants to give us some hands-on experience. No. He didn't have a clue what he was doing. This is, and Hermione's like, no, of course he does. Haven't you read his books? I read all of them, right? He's done so many amazing things. And Ron, interestingly, says he says he's done. He says he's done these things. I find that very interesting that Ron kind of calls his teacher out like that.
I mean, his spell did nothing. Then he dove under the desk, and then he left 3 students in the room and said, "Okay, bye." Yeah, so I mean, I'm on Team Ron.
Me too. Absolutely.
Like, what is this guy doing?
1000%.
Not to mention the fact that he's so completely full of himself.
Yeah.
And that ends the chapter. That takes us to book versus movie. And again, we're straying further and further from the books with the movies now.
Yes. Actually, I went in and I looked, and this chapter is depicted in less than about 6 minutes of the movie.
Okay. It is. It's very short. I mean, this is a pretty short chapter too, though. We talked about that. It's a shorter chapter. But yeah, it's a very small scene in the movie, and it's very different from the book. So in the movie, Lockhart doesn't come to the class with Professor Sprout. There's no bandages. The Willow has no bandages. That was never a thing. The mandrakes are actually brown. They kind of look like potatoes.
Yes.
And then because, of course, they always have to add some extra drama because it's a movie. In the movie, when Professor Sprout pulls out the mandrake, Neville faints. Yeah. And she says, "Oh, Longbottom's neglected his earmuffs." And Seamus says, "No, he's just fainted." And they just leave him there on the floor. She's like, "Okay, he'll be all right. He'll wake up after a while." And they just leave him on the floor for the rest of class while they work around him.
Right.
Oddly, the sequence is different in the movie. You and I talked about this last week when we were getting ready, Erica. So the Great Hall scene with the Howler happens after herbology in the movie, and so it makes it seem like it's a different day. And
no, it was lunch. So
or maybe it was at lunchtime.
Yeah, because you and I had talked about it. So when I was watching it, I was kind of paying attention, and they had like potato chips and stuff like that on the table. So it was actually lunchtime. So they went to herbology class, and then they broke for lunch, and then they went to Defense Against the Dark Arts.
Okay, because why we talked about that.
There was no transfiguration.
Because why we talked about that was when the Howler came, only Errol flew in. It wasn't a mail delivery drop. It was just Errol coming in, bringing the Howler at that time. And in the movie is where she switches her voice, and after she yells all of that at Ron, she goes, "Oh, and Ginny dear, congratulations on making it into Gryffindor. We're so proud of you."
Exactly.
At the end of the Howler. And then the Howler does like a raspberry with a long paper tongue and then tears itself up instead of catching fire and curling into ash like in the book.
Yes.
In the movie, they actually meet Colin in the Great Hall. He comes up with his camera. There's that whole scene with Lockhart where he hears it and all of that kind of stuff, and Draco and all that. None of that happens.
Because they're on lunch. He comes up to them at lunch.
Yeah. And so they do all of that, and then after lunch they just go to Defense Against the Dark Arts. So they're actually in the classroom already, and then Gilderoy Lockhart kind of sweeps in, like making his entrance in the movie, and does his intro and points at all his, like, smiles at all his classroom is adorned with pictures of himself, and he's like smiling at each one as he passes by and walks into the class introducing himself.
Of course it is. And of course he is.
So in the book, when the pixies pick Neville up by the ears and hang him on the chandelier falls. But in the movie, the chandelier doesn't fall. And poor Neville, while they're getting him down, is like, why is it always me?
I know, poor baby. Hold on.
And then in the movie, the pixie does snatch Gilderoy Lockhart's wand, but instead of throwing it out the window, he uses it, and there's like a skeleton of some kind of creature, probably a small dragon or something like that, hanging from the ceiling. And the pixie uses the wand, detaches that, and that comes crashing down.
Do you think it's a thestral? I thought it was a thestral.
Oh, maybe. But I didn't feel like it was big enough. Oh, maybe it was a chillin. I didn't feel like it was big enough to be a thestral. Like, it was smaller. You know what I mean? And just now I thought maybe it was a chillin.
Oh, that's very possible. These are, by the way, these are all creatures that we come to find in other books or in Fantastic Beasts as well.
Mm-hmm. And then the last book versus movie thing that I have is Hermione actually just casts Immobulus, and all the pixies freeze in midair. And that's how they gather them up and get them back into the cage. Did I miss anything?
Let's see. Mail call, Lockhart Doctrine, the Whomping Willow. Did we said that the test isn't in the book, in the movie?
Oh, yeah, it wasn't. I didn't say it, but I had it written down, but I didn't say it. No. Yeah. They didn't do that test.
It's very, very short because basically what happens is that in the movie, he just introduces himself and then introduces the pixies. So it's really short. Whereas in the book, he gives them their little pop quiz and whatnot.
Yeah. So tell me your takeaways from this chapter, A.
Okay. Oh my goodness. I gotta say, I don't even know how to word it properly other than just like, wow.
Is it the level of which Mr. Lockhart is full of himself?
Wow. Like, he's so calculated, like he I guess you have to be so calculated to be so pompous, like to get to the level where he is. You have to be calculated, like you have to be smart to really, because remember, if you guys don't know, he is from Ravenclaw. Okay, he's not dumb, he's just calculated.
Every house has witches and wizards they're ashamed of.
There you go. That's my takeaway. That puts my takeaway into words.
Hey, we don't like being associated with that one. So same thing. My first one says Lockhart is so full of himself, and then in big capital letters, triple underlined, I wrote cringe, like in a cringy way, like he's ew, and that he also doesn't listen. He just talks over whoever, like, he never heard Harry being like, dude, that's not who I am. Like, that's not what happened. That's not, he does not listen. And my other
Well, because he
takeaway we
believes
talked
his own
about,
reality.
huh?
Because he believes his own reality.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. And then the other part I wrote down, we actually talked about during the chapter, was the part where he tells Harry he's a nobody. Like, literally, Harry is the most famous wizard in the wizarding world. And you just told this boy he's a nobody because you're so full of yourself and have to pump yourself up above everyone, so much so that you just told Harry Potter he's a nobody. Harry Potter. Sir. Your Delulu knows no bounds.
Oh my. I guess we're trying to appeal to a younger demographic.
Or I'm just, hey, maybe I'm delirious. I don't know. Anyway, yeah, that guy, we don't love him. And hopefully those hearts around his classes on Hermione's schedule will go away because she's still defending him. But Harry and Ron are already onto it and don't particularly care for this guy that much either. Him and his 5-time Witch Weekly charming smile.
Yep. That's it.
Okay. It's time to make magic, friend. All right.
Let's do it.
You want me to play the video?
I'm ready.
All right. Here we go.
Okay. This is a jar of freshly caught Cornish pixies that I made 2 years ago. So really, it's very, very simple to do. You're going to get like tissue paper, you get a present. You've got tissue paper in your present. Don't throw it away. Rip it up into little bits and print off some silhouettes of Cornish pixies. Cut them up. Use some regular old Elmer's, some regular glue, and decorate your jar. I put the paper first over the jar, and then I put the pixies behind the paper so that the silhouettes are a little bit more hidden. And then use any kind of, like little LED candlelight kind of thing to illuminate it. And the lid has a little lightning bolt on it. I can show you. There you go. Very simple and very, very affordable, which is the most important part for me, that it is very affordable for everyone to make.
She glossed over the fact that she made about 50 of these things.
I did.
Because they were the party favors from her Harry Potter party. So I actually have one of these that she made. Actually, I may have more than one.
I definitely did about 50 of them. This is also glue. Glue gun glue. So, just obviously have to manipulate it into the shape, but that's simple enough. If you buy anything that's jarred, pickles, olives, peanut butter, jam, I don't know, whatever, save it. If you have a jar, then it's free. You just buy whatever you bought, right? And if you got a gift with tissue paper in it, then that's free. And if you have a printer or access to a printer and you can print off the little silhouettes of the Cornish pixies, that's not going to cost you much. So literally, I think that the only thing you have to pay for is the light. So, I mean, you can get this at like the 99-cent store, right?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. So,
and usually like a package of them, not just one.
Yeah, because it'll die soon. So here's an example. I also put a little tag on them that says freshly caught Cornish pixies. And if you do the light that like flickers, that's good too. This one is just a straight up, actually it's a bunch of these little balls, but if you put, this is just so that it can be really, really bright for the camera. But normally it's just one of these situations that flickers. And the flickering is very adorable. It gives it a little outdoorsy vibe. But yeah, I think it's super simple to make. Sorry. Anybody can do it. All you have to do is cut and paste. Easy peasy.
Love it. Easy peasy.
And again, one of those things that's like highly affordable, which is a huge part of the original feeling of the Making Magic segment. Because I know to buy an actual Cornish pixie is very expensive. To buy a lot of the Harry Potter stuff is very expensive. And if you love Harry Potter and you want some Harry Potter stuff around you, just make this.
Or if you just love making crafts, because we've been exhibiting some people who have made some amazing things these last few chapters.
Yeah. Gosh, what did you guys think of the Whomping Willow?
Oh my goodness. Dude, if I would have seen her out trick-or-treating, like, dude.
Oh no. I don't think I could recover from that.
That was so incredibly creative.
I would have fangirled so hard.
Yeah. Yeah.
Alas.
Okay, ready?
Yeah.
You have a decision to make, my friend.
I don't want to.
Oh, come on. We do this every time. It's time for Hallows or Horcruxes.
Yay!
Okay. This week's question, would you rather have to repot mandrakes or have to capture Cornish pixies?
Okay. Maybe it's the Hufflepuff in me, but I would much rather repot mandrakes. I don't have to chase them anywhere. They're not going to pull my hair. They're not going to steal my wand. They're not going to try to like gang up on me and hang me from a chandelier. They're not, they're just not as menacing. And one of the things that I wanted to talk about was the earmuffs. So in the movie and in the book, they seem to be a little bit different. Number one, in the book, there were some pink ones. There were some, different colored ones. Whereas in the movie, I checked, they were all the same color.
Interesting.
And number two, in the book, it makes it seem like, and I mean, this makes perfect sense, that they would be magicked in a way that they were 100% soundproof when you put them on, because they can't hear anything the moment that they put them on in the book. Whereas in the movie, I mean, Neville still fainted, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I think you can still hear, like they're like normal earmuffs, but it's
where they just muffle the sound and not mute it.
Yeah, but it's a magical world. Why wouldn't they be 100% like soundproof?
Right. That makes
So I'm
sense.
down the mandrakes.
So for me, I thought about doing the pixies just because Hermione made it look easy. You freeze them all, capture them up. But the pandemonium that comes the moment you let them out of the cage, I could pass on that. So I went with the mandrakes.
And not only that, but like you're thinking of it from the classroom perspective where they were released from a cage. They're freshly caught, right? Which means that they actually exist somewhere in the wild. So imagine trying to catch them somewhere in the wild. They can sneak up on you, gang up on you. Where do they come from? Do they live in a tree? Like,
I don't know, because when you said that, all I pictured was like, oh, what if you're out hiking in a magical forest one day and then all of a sudden you just get a swarm of Cornish pixies?
and no one hears from you ever again because you're
That would
hanging
suck.
from a tree. Yeah,
By your ears.
exactly. Nope, I'll take the mandrake.
Oh, that is funny. All right. Good show. Good show. Good show, chap. Bestie, tell the people where to find you.
I'm Poodle Noodle 82 at the Instagrammy place, and I highly recommend this lounge set because even though I'm not even wearing it as a lounge set right now, I'm just wearing it kind of like a stole. It is so warm. I could see what my dog thought. Like, Madam loves this thing. I can totally see why. It's very warm.
Endorsement. And I am Christina McCrary on Facebook, Xtina McCrazy on TikTok, Instagram, Threads, and Blue Sky. It has been fun. Once again, thank you for joining us. If you're new here, welcome. If you are returning, thanks for coming back. And we will see you guys in 2 weeks for Chapter 7. Bye, magical friends.